reading for the winter solstice 2023 and the energies moving forward into the new year 2024. Um, so I have some notes that I made here yesterday. I just want to go over some of the main kind of themes and aspects for this winter solstice. So, winter solstice automatically kicks off Capricorn season if you didn't know. And so there's already like this theme of Earth, moving into this last little bit of 2023 and moving into 2024. There's a focus on Earth, and even more so because we have a grand Earth trine, which essentially looks like a big triangle of like a triangle shape of the planets involved. The planets involved are forming a triangle essentially. So we have involved in that grand Earth trine is Sun, Mercury, retrograde conjunct in Capricorn. Then we have Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, and Moon slash Jupiter retrograde conjunct in Taurus. So I'm going to break a couple things. I'm not going to go into super big detail, but I will break a few of these things down for anybody who's new to astrology or just learning to kind of give some context to what I'm saying. Essentially, retrogrades, when a planet's retrograde, physically in the sky, it's an illusion. It looks like it's moving backwards, but in actuality, the Earth is speeding up in its orbit, and it's temporarily passing Mercury, but then eventually, or whatever planet's retrograde, eventually that planet catches up, and then it looks like it's moving forward again. Energetically speaking, it represents a more of a kind of introverted energy. So going, whatever themes that planet represents, it's about going within, and also like revision. So it can be about past things related to, again, the archetype of that planet. So Mercury, it's the mind, the logical, left brain, daily routines, communication. Black Moon Lilith is, you can kind of visualize this energy. It's not actually a planet, it's a hypothetical space in space, and it's opposite the moon's orbit. So it's always, well, I shouldn't say it's opposite the moon's orbit, because it's rather it moves around, and it's kind of like this black, it's almost like you could think of it as like dark matter almost. I'm not saying it's actually dark matter, I'm not like a scientist or anything, but that's kind of how I visualize it and how it feels. It's the dark feminine, and it essentially, you can think of it as the opposite counterpart to Mercury. It's part of a greater, bigger polarity, but I'm not going to get into all that because, again, I'm just trying to skim over the surface just to give you some context. But she represents, so if Mercury's like the logical mind and the logical senses, the physical senses, then Lilith is like that gut instinct. It's like the feeling that you get when something's not right, and the hairs on your skin stand on end, that sort of thing. And essentially it's like bodily intuition. It's that sixth sense. You could say one of the six senses, one of the ways that is expressed. And then I expect you probably know what the moon and Jupiter represent. Again, Jupiter's retrograde, so there's a going within right now for expansion and philosophical issues, your belief systems, that sort of thing. Coupled with the moon means your emotions are involved. So how is that impacting you emotionally and kind of in your daily life, that sort of thing. So with all these in that triangle shape, so a regular trine would be like one side of this triangle, and it's like a partnership energy between the planets. So it is a easy flowing aspect, but it can be wasted because it's so easy and flowing, and you don't really have to think about it too much. That you can end up like, it's kind of like use it or lose it. You know, you can take it for granted and then it goes to waste, sort of thing. Like you don't realize the full potential of it. And so, grand Earth trine is like that on a bigger scale. And with the Earth element, we're talking about the material plane, reputation, again, daily routines, taking care of the body, value, self worth. These are all Earth themes of the Earth signs. And so, with this grand Earth trine, there is essentially an opportunity to really ground some of these revising kind of energies of your daily routines with Mercury retrograde, the Sun, and then also the Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo, and the Moon and Jupiter together, Jupiter retrograde. There's this opportunity to ground. First, you're going within and seeing what needs to change between your belief systems, how that impacts your daily routines, your thought patterns, because Jupiter and Mercury are also natural opposition. So Jupiter's more about the big picture, you know, abstract concepts. Mercury is very much about getting down to business, you know, Earth, very practical oriented. So both the macro and the micro parts of your lives are, you're going within and seeing what needs to be, to have you know, you're going within to see what needs to be looked at. Forgive me, it is with this Mercury retrograde. I am a Gemini, so it does affect my speech. So I might be mumbling here and there, but do my best. And so you're going within and you're seeing what needs to be edited out of your life, both at the micro level, your daily routines, your health, your diet, your thought patterns, all those things, and as well as your belief systems at the more macro level. And also, it's kind of with Mercury conjunct the Sun, there can be a kind of like a egotistical aspect to that conjunction. So it's kind of, your ego might try to steer you away from editing out these routines, but just trust your intuition. That's the best way to approach it. And with the Black Moon and Lilith, just listen to your body, listen to what your body's telling you to at this time. And we have two other aspects that are impacting this grand Earth trine and helping it. So again, with the trines and grand Earth trine, it can be wasted too. But when you have hard aspects or challenging aspects to an Earth trine, or I mean to any grand trine, it helps to kind of motivate the individual to use it. So we have Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo in conjunct Chiron and Aries. What is an in conjunction? It's the antithesis of a conjunction. So conjunctions where the planets are blending and you have to make them work for better or for worse. And in conjunction is kind of like oil and water. They don't have anything that they can relate to like with each other, but you have to make them blend together and work. And it creates this, it's similar to an opposition but more extreme. And it can operate more under the radar, so more subconsciously or even unconsciously. And so with Chiron retrograde, again with the retrograde, we're also going back and revising the bigger picture of our transformational process, our alchemical transformational process, our deep woundings from our childhood and even past lives. and we're seeing what needs to be looked at again, or maybe was always ignored, and it's time to actually face it head on and heal it once Chiron goes direct again. And with this in conjunction, there's kind of a, with Chiron retrograde in Aries, there's kind of like this, let's get it done, kind of like, let's do it, kind of rocket energy. That's how I describe Aries. It's like, uh, it goes really hard and then it can fizzle out, but it's all about like go, go, go. And then the Virgo energy is all about dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So you can see how there's kind of this extreme energy, and so it's balancing, knowing when to take action on these transformational edits and actions, and when to take a step back, listen to what your body's telling you, because again, that's what Black Moon Lilith is all about, and especially in Virgo. And taking practical steps when necessary, taking a break, because the alchemical process can be pretty taxing on the body at times. So you might need rest, And let's see, we also have Sirius and Sagittarius in conjunct Moon, Jupiter, conjunct or blended, retrograde in Taurus. Now, we have a couple things going on here with this. So it is helping again to facilitate using this Grand Earth trine. But there again, there's that awkward, extreme energy of the in conjunction. It is mitigated a little bit because I use Sirius as the ruler of Taurus. And then Jupiter is, the ruler of Sagittarius. So when they're in each other's signs, it's called a mutual reception. And it does act like a conjunction. So we kind of have this little bit of contradictory energy going on where they're in conjunct, but also kind of conjunct, but it helps to sort of mitigate some of that extreme energy. And so there's kind of this sense of maybe wanting to shake things up and like travel, or if it's not in a physical way, Sagittarius can sometimes come out in ways of like watching documentaries, reading books, and traveling in that sense, having new experiences while staying at home. So that can be one aspect of how Sirius and Sagittarius could manifest specifically. But I kind of see this with, and again, with Jupiter retrograde, there is going in and revising your belief systems. And coupled with the moon and Sirius, it's kind of like, how is that impacting your daily life? Because Sirius is also the other ruler of Virgo. So there's those daily routines again in the body. And then the moon is your also daily life, but it's like your needs. It's obviously your emotions. So how's that impacting you emotionally? So kind of balancing between maybe resting, staying home when necessary, but also getting out there and seeing the world, having new experiences that can expand, your mind, your consciousness. Now, with Jupiter retrograde, usually long distance travel is not recommended. So I would say, you're kind of probably more likely, this energy is more likely to manifest as, the collective wanting to stay home at this time, especially with a lot of people are, staying home for the holidays. There probably is, obviously, there's still going to be some travel. So if you are traveling for the holidays, I would say make sure you have gone over your list many times for all the stuff you're packing, and make sure your arrangements are, double check your arrangements, like your flight, your rental car, whatever you're doing. If you're using your own vehicle, make sure you get it checked out with your mechanic. I would suggest you do all those kind of things, because again, things can go a little haywire with long distance travel with Jupiter retrograde. Now, I'm not saying that to make anybody fearful. Just one thing to watch out for. So again, once Jupiter retrograde, or yeah, ends and it goes direct, then a lot of these, like you might also at this time make plans. So maybe you're home. So you're, in order to balance this energy, maybe you're at home and you're planning for a trip as well. Like that can manifest that way. So, anyways, I feel like this is just tying in and kind of reiterating that Earth theme for the Earth Grand Trine for this winter solstice energy. And also, Sirius is square Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. So, again, it's just the square is like friction energy. It's kind of Saturnian. It's kind of navigating those quote unquote sharp edges of life, the kind of crunchy, not fun moments. But again, you might have this, you might feel some friction between wanting to travel, go out and do things, but your body's telling you to stay in your routine and take care of yourself. Don't go too crazy, that sort of thing. It's just, again, making a way for those energies to both be able to function in a healthy way in your life. So again, maybe like watching travel shows or watching documentaries or History Channel, something like that, might help to satisfy this need for travel or expansion of the mind right now. But I always say, trust your intuition. So if your higher self, if your soul's calling you to go somewhere, then do it. But just like I said with the Jupiter retrograde, just make sure you double check everything just to be safe. And we also have Saturn in Pisces opposite this Grand Earth trine, which is again helping to ground the energy. And it's also kind of balancing, because Pisces is a very, it's a water sign, it's a very spiritual sign, so it's balancing the material with the emotional and the spiritual realm. So it's kind of making, I feel like Saturn's helping to not only ground this energy, but also ground it in a integrated way, so that you don't have one side or the other getting too extreme as it pertains to the intangible and the intangible. All right, so with that said, I think I've covered most of the themes of the chart, and I want to go in to the actual reading now. So I have, I pulled 6 decks to use today. I just kind of feel like there's a lot that's going to come out today, so what do we want to go into first? Let's do Food Fortune Tarot. See what comes out about this winter solstice, and also moving forward into 2024. Now, I want to preface that I don't know, we're going to see what comes out, and I'm kind of just starting out because like the winter solstice and is like winters for the next 3 months, so we don't have the spring equinox till I believe it'd be March. Sometimes I'm bad with the dates, but basically, yeah, we have 3 months of winter, but it overlaps with the new year. So right now I'm just saying this is kind of the energies moving into 2024, but it's not necessarily encompassing the whole year. It could. We'll see how I feel and what comes out. But I just wanted to include, since there's that overlap, kind of the energies moving forward, at least for the next 3 months. We'll just say that into 2024. Which, time is really an illusion. We only have the now, so. All right, let's see. Bagged one. I just heard like getting ready to flow into the land of milk and honey, like that kind of biblical reference. That's kind of what I heard. Which kind of, resonates with abundance, and that's like very much an earth element theme, what I've been talking about. So for a lot of the people tuning in, it's time for your abundance to be flowing in. So maybe you've been really putting in all the work, which again, that's an earth trait, putting in a lot of hard work. A lot of times it is just, flat out physical hard labor, but it can also be like, it can be in lots of different ways. But at any rate, you've put in the work. It's time to reap the benefits of all that hard work. Okay. Now we're going to go into the Psychic Tarot, get some more context. Oh, material and spiritual prosperity. So there's another confirmation. And there's the red, which also resonates with the root chakra stability. And these two fountains kind of represent, to me, like a portal. And he's looking towards that new portal, and also the sun, which represents abundance as well, joy, happiness. He's looking towards the sun. He's looking towards that new, getting ready to walk through that new chapter in life. And so I feel like for those watching, I'm going to say for all those watching, or will be watching, when you tune into this, again, whenever, in divine timing, it is your time to prosper. It's your time to revel in all the hard work you've put into, and all the blood, sweat, and tears, whatever that might be for you. And I'm also like drawn to those trees in the back. So it's not going to stop here. It's going to continue to grow. Just like how those trees are going to continue to grow and get larger. Your legacy, I'm hearing your legacy, your reputation is going to keep growing, and you will be known for what you have done in this lifetime. And it will continue to reap benefits for you. Very cool. All right, now we're going to go into let's see. Yeah, we're going to go into the karma cards. See what other I'm hearing what other good karma you have coming your way. Because karma gets a bad rep, it's known for usually manifesting negative, but really karma is neutral. It's just your past actions and reaping basically what you've sown from those past actions. So, if you've helped others and done what's in alignment for your soul, you work to build others up, not tear them down. I feel like you're gonna reap good karma. Now that's not to say that there aren't challenges, because we signed up for certain lessons and whatnot, but I do think that has your attitude and your words, your actions all have a bearing on what karma you're reaping. So let's see here. That's interesting. We got the 9th house, which resonates with, this is Sagittarius and Jupiter's house, so it's kind of tying into the beginning of my reading, going over the chart for the winter solstice. Long range thinking or travel, what is to be shared. So yeah, you might have a heart to really share what you have, and maybe you haven't always been able to do that, but you will be very, very soon. And I'm hearing you'll have the opportunity to do so for the rest of your life. And we also have long-range thinking or travel. So again, maybe you're planning for a trip. It could have a bearing on helping to manifest this reputation, abundance, prosperity. So maybe that's, a part of this whole, what I'm tapping into. or maybe it's just to meet, help you meet the right people and the connections to facilitate this. And sometimes, you know, we can be stuck. Again, getting back to like that Mercury retrograde energy in Capricorn and like Virgo energy and stuff, like we can be stuck in these old ways of thinking. And so like when we go to another country, or it could even be within your country, but to another area where it's a very different way of life, you know, culture is different, it really can shock you out of that old patterning and, you know, really help you help to benefit you in the long run. And so again, I feel like, yes, a lot of us, especially the past generations, but even those people that are watching right now, we have been conditioned to have this lack mentality, and I'm hearing that's what's being kind of purged. And again, going on this trip in divine timing, or like I said before, maybe there's a certain book you're drawn to, or a certain documentary, or a certain video on YouTube. It could be anything that helps you integrate a new way of thinking. And it's just, again, finding and integrating the balance between the bigger picture and the details in life to help facilitate that. So it's pretty cool that the ninth house came out. All right. Are there any other, right now I'm doing the Black Moon astrology cards. Ooh, okay. Let's see if there's any other energies that we need to focus on right now, moving into the new year. Look at that. Mercury retrograde came out. Can't make this up. Yeah. So again, just watch those old patterns and those old way of thinking. Mercury retrograde. That's no longer serving you. This is the time to. Here's the thing too. Our words, you know, there's a reason why they teach us to spell. They call it spelling. Our words are like magic spells. So our thoughts are very important. You want to watch your thoughts, but especially what you speak and put onto the ether is even more so. Now, I'm not saying, you know, you say something once and it's going to happen. It could, because I think a lot of it depends on where you're at vibrationally, but especially right now with the earth vibrating higher and higher, like the gap between manifestation, between like a thought and speaking it, and then the manifestation's becoming narrow and narrow. Like things are manifesting a lot faster, and probably the fastest they ever have in many, probably I dare say thousands of years. Maybe since, I would say, yeah, I'm hearing Atlantis times, Lemuria times. So we haven't been able to manifest like this for a very long time, because the earth was, this is just a little side note, the earth was originally intended to be in 5D, and she was, but she got pulled down into the third dimension. So it's taken all this time, thousands and thousands of years, to get back to this point, and we're not even fully anchored yet, but I feel like, and I've seen evidence of 5D earth here. You just have to be in vibrational alignment to it. But anyways, getting back to our words, yes, that gap, that manifestation gap, is become very much more narrow, and so that's another reason to be mindful of what you're speaking. Are you speaking love over yourself and others, positivity over yourself and others? Are you, you know, focusing on the negative all the time, or, you know, worrying, which I get. You can't always control that. You can't control the mind, but you can redirect it. You know, through meditation, prayer, whatever works for you. Maybe even exercise. You can channel some of that mental anxiety into exercise. Just whatever you're guided to do, I would suggest that. And just be very mindful of that internal dialogue right now, especially this Mercury retrograde. I'm hearing like what we speak right now in this last, and our thought patterns right now are kind of crucial to us moving forward into 2024. Like once Mercury goes retrograde again, it's kind of like that energy is going to be manifested forward into 2024. So it's very important to focus on your thoughts, especially your words right now. All right. So I think I'm going to focus the last part of the reading on what needs to be healed with that Chiron energy involved, and even Black Moon Lilith, because another aspect of Black Moon Lilith and what she represents. So you have the 13th sign of Fucus, and I'm not going to go again into all this, like what a Fucus is about, because it's a lot, but I just want to like touch on it real quick just to kind of tie in with this reading and what I'm talking about. A Fucus is the only sign that has 3 rulers, and mind you, this is just my take on it. A lot of astrologers aren't gonna agree with this, but it represents integrating the light and the dark, the shadow. So the 3 planets that rule it all have to do with the shadow in different ways, and really the light, and integrating both, but they're usually seen and interpreted as the dark. They can manifest as challenging ways to help us integrate that shadow and balance it with the light, if that makes sense. So the 3 planets or bodies are Pluto, Black Moon Lilith, and Chiron. They all represent pain, challenges, but in different ways. Pluto's kind of like the pain with finding your personal power and like dealing with somebody else trying to like dominate you until you find that. And then Lilith is like shame. It's like deep shame. So whatever sign or house she's in, we usually feel very shameful around that energy. Like usually our family that we were born into didn't support that, and like I said, might have even shamed us for whatever that. It's going to be unique to everybody's situation. And then Chiron's just deep wounding, deep pain. And almost for Chiron, I almost feel like it's like that, whatever sign it's in or house, like that area of life was ignored. That's how it's been kind of in my life. That's how I've seen it. And I would say in others is that that's what causes that deep wound, is it's just that part of you is ignored, you know. And so they're all about, I also like to say they're all about your secret powers in life. Like they all kind of represent like a secret power that you have. And once you've moved through the pain and the shame and the power struggles with Pluto, and also Pluto represents. So here's another aspect. I'll just touch on a little bit. Again, I'm not going to go like too deep into it, but as it pertains to the transformational process, Chiron is kind of like the overarching framework or picture of the transformational process. Pluto is the inner workings, like what it takes to get there. And then I feel like, again, Black Moon Lilith kind of represents the ways of thinking. But she's not really about thinking, she's more about the feeling in the body. Like, so like following your bodily intuition on what it takes to heal these things. So they all kind of play a part in this transformation and healing. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I explained it okay. But so let's see if we can get some more information about the shadows, the healing, the things that are being healed in divine timing. Like, let's just see what comes up. Let's see, water. Ooh. Yeah, okay, so there's this chalice, there's like the Venus symbol on there. I'm getting like this dagger, I'm in the chalice, I'm kind of just seeing like being stabbed in the heart. And water, I feel like the water is tying in with the moon being involved in our emotions with this grand earth trine with the winter solstice. And so, with all that said, I think there's a lot of trauma and deep wounding being healed around our relationships. And Chiron is in an Aries. It's on that polarity opposition with Libra, the sign of relationships. So Chiron's kind of asking us to face who we are within and without a relationship, because you can't really be in a healthy relationship unless you know who you are first. This is something that I've had to work on personally in my life, because I'm got a lot of Venus in my chart, and I'm a Libra moon and stuff. So I have a Sun Venus conjunction, so I understand that very well. That you can't lose yourself in other people. You have to know who you are first and foremost before you can even begin to relate to others, you know? And it's about finding that balance, you know, between knowing yourself and also being in tune with other people. But that's kind of what I'm getting, like healing those deep wounds around people. And maybe they wounded your ego, your self-worth, your self-expression, you know, like the different relationships. It could be any kind of relationship. It doesn't have to be necessarily romantic. It could be the family that you grew up in, friendships. It could be anything. But that's what I'm getting, is that we're focusing right now, the collective, whoever's tapping into this right now, on healing our relationships, and specifically our relationship to self. That's what Aries is about, relationship to self. I think I'm going to pull another card from this. I got to pull another card from this deck. And then the last deck I'm going to use is the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which I love. I love the artwork. It's kind of like, I have Native American in my background, so I just love it for that aspect. It's got kind of indigenous Native American vibe, and the artwork is kind of, I would say, somewhat impressionistic, but I just love that deck, so I'm going to finish out with that deck. I'm guided to pull one more card from this shadow. It's called the Book of Shadows Tarot. Hello to the 3 that are watching. I appreciate you tuning in, supporting the channel. We got water again. I'm hearing if you remember, I mentioned earlier, Saturn and Pisces is opposite this grand earth trine. And so when Saturn's in water signs, it's kind of tricky, because there is karma and lessons around dissolving boundaries and emotions. And with Pisces, it's particularly tricky because Saturn is all about boundaries, and it is somewhat about identity and kind of separating yourself. And Pisces is all about blending and merging. And so I think with Saturn and Pisces, it's kind of like the lesson is finding that balance between having and knowing when to have strong boundaries with people, but also knowing when to lose yourself in the collective. Well, that's not really, okay, you don't ever want to lose yourself in the collective, but it's kind of knowing when it feels safe to like empathize with somebody, or like identify with someone, that sort of thing. Like, so again, not letting people manipulate you, but also knowing when it's safe and okay to let your guard down, I guess, is probably the best way to say it. And again, I think this is tying in with that healing around relationships, past relationships, and just again finding that balance between knowing who you are as an individual, having a healthy ego, because I think the ego does get a bad rep, but the ego is not evil. It's there to protect us. It's just you don't want it to. You want to be in charge of the ego. You don't want the ego to be in charge of you. You want to really have the soul be in charge, but it is there to protect us, and it's how we function and move through this experience as a human. And there's like these spirits at the bottom, so I'm feeling like you might have ancestors coming through with messages. So be aware of that, and if you have even 5 or 10 minutes to sit down and just be in silence, or you can have some meditation music, whatever it takes to just sit and listen, and your past ancestors have messages that want to come through. I'm here and I want to congratulate you on this success, or this coming success that's coming very soon, and this new wave of abundance and prosperity. And they're very proud of you. They know it's taken a long time to get here. And they want to thank you for breaking karmic chains, because a lot of us have come in to break old patterns and ways of thinking, which again is tying in that Mercury retrograde. So I think that's what they're alluding to. Yeah. Very proud of how far you've come and what you've done for the family line. And I've heard other readers talking about this, so I think it is like a very big theme right now in the collective, is with the new earth coming, and we're continuing to anchor in the new earth. We're helping to heal these genetic and family lines, and like moving forward into the new earth. So that's really cool and exciting. I am losing daylight, so that is the universe telling me that I need to wrap this up. So I'm going to, like I said, finish with the Mystic Shaman Oracle. All right, Spirit, what final messages do we have for winter solstice? How can we best use this energy moving forward into 2024? The journey. Hearing, trust the journey, spread your wings, don't be afraid to move into new territories, new ways of being, new ways of existence going into 2024. Get out of your comfort zone. And see how he has his arms are crossed, but he kind of has that right hand over his heart. So I'm hearing, trust your heart, trust your guides, your ancestors. They won't let you down. And the moon's there, so again, there's that reiteration of trusting your heart. It's like our heart chakra is like the gateway to, I will just say it's one of the main gateways to our soul and to our higher self. We also have the crown, which is our direct connection to source, but like the heart chakra too is super connected as well. And I'm hearing to the ancestors, so don't be afraid to call on them. Your guides. At this point, I kind of consider guides and ancestors kind of one and the same thing. I guess it is possible that some of our guides aren't necessarily the souls that were incarnated as our ancestors, but I think when you're talking about spirit, it's kind of silly to separate those things, because there's really no separation, at the point of source, 0 point field. But let's see. One more message, Spirit. Okay, we got two cards wanting to come out. We got the Sorcerer and the Rattle. Interesting. So I'm hearing with the Sorcerer, like, you are creator of your universe, your reality. So again, going back to that Mercury retrograde energy, be very mindful of your thoughts and of course actions, and words, because they do create your reality. May not be overnight, but eventually, especially if you are continually, whatever you're continually focusing on, that will eventually manifest. As within, so without. So our outer reality is always reflecting our inner reality. With the rattle, I'm hearing it might be beneficial to you right now to like get on YouTube or any resource where there are certain frequencies you can listen to. Excuse me. I know 528 hertz, that's one that I really like. I think it resonates with the heart chakra. But I'm getting that there are certain frequencies right now that could be beneficial to you and maybe helping to assist in you changing some of the subconscious patterning and thoughts that might be just playing over and over again. Like these frequencies are going to help shift your subconscious, because that's why like mantras are important. If you can find a mantra too. And it's best if you can use others, but I think it's even better if you can create your own, because then it's like got your own energy, your own frequency, imbued with it essentially. And they all help to shift your subconscious, because really the subconscious kind of runs the show a lot of the time. So that's why it's so important to help shift like these patterns that are deeply embedded in the subconscious, because a lot of times they're the ones pulling the strings. So you might be consciously thinking or saying one thing, but your subconscious can hijack that. So I'm not saying that to be fearful or anything like that. It's just to be aware. So there are certain frequencies that you can find on YouTube. Just Google like 528 hertz, or I like 1111 too. It's like, angel frequency, like whatever you're drawn to. That's what I'm hearing. And also certain frequencies too. You could actually do both. Say your mantras while listening to these frequencies, and then it'll be even more potent. That's something I should probably do. That's for me too. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I really hope that this resonated for those watching or those that will watch. And I want to wish anybody who celebrates Christmas a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I don't know if I'm going to do another video before New Year, so if not, Happy New Year. And I look forward, I'm excited for 2024. Like 2023 was a pretty rough year for me. A lot of deep shadow work and healing and integration and hermit mode type stuff. So I'm excited for New Year and the abundance and prosperity. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a new chapter to start. I'm ready for the hard work to pay off too. So let's move forward into this new year with joy and abundance and prosperity and a feeling of gratitude. That's my intention. All right. So I will talk to you guys, or I'll see you in the next video in divine timing. See ya.